should be on the Laikipia Forum home screen that has our logo and someone overlooking the beautiful Laikipia. I don't know whether that's what everyone is seeing.
Yes. Continue, John.
Okay. So just an introduction. My name is John Kiongo. I am a program officer at the Laikipia Wildlife Forum. We are a non-profit or non-profit organization based in Nanyuki, Laikipia County. It's a very clean and quiet town, usually very sunny, apart from the last few days. Basically, the Laikipia Forum is an organization that nurtures and supports and partners with organizations who are keen on wildlife conservation and sustainable natural resource management within not only Laikipia, but the greater Laikipia landscape. So this is Nyeri, Meru, Samburu, Isiolo, among other neighboring counties. So in the presentation, I've featured what we act as, and we are a voice for nature and natural resources. We are a platform to develop common agendas on programs, and we are an assembly for creative solutions and conflict resolutions, and a place to coordinate and consolidate advocacy and action on common concerns and themes. So I'll just share something with you on partnerships. This is because the Laikipia Forum doesn't act on its own or work on its own, but we work in concert with other conservation organizations. I don't know whether you can see that screen that I'm sharing, but it has some of the organizations who we work with and who are part of our board. We have CETRA, Demusako, Oramat, the Northern Rangelands Trust, Mpala Research Center, Space for Giants, Laikipia Farmers Association, among other organizations.
John.
And I've been listening in to the discussions. Sorry?
We are not seeing the presentation as such. We are seeing your screen now. We see partnerships. But you need to adjust it. It's too big for the window, right? You need to just on the right hand side. It's 114%. Do you see? You need to down there. There you go. Now we can see the.
If I put it as a slideshow, I don't know whether everyone is seeing.
Yeah, you could.
Let's see. Better? I think I can present it this way. Simon, I don't know whether the team is seeing.
No, it is still in the same mode. So it's better you just use that mode and just click on the images you talk.
Okay. Okay, so I'll talk about the forum's thematic areas or our focus areas. So the forum focuses on different areas. We focus on wildlife. Actually, the forum used to be called the Laikipia Wildlife Forum, but it's now Laikipia Forum because we address more than just wildlife issues. So we address wildlife, rangelands, water, conservation education, land use management, and tourism. And we support these thematic areas through communication, capacity building, enterprise development, public-private partnerships, among other ways. So the forum's milestones it has been crucial or key to the rise of various organizations which address different natural resource issues. And these organizations are still housed and supported by the Laikipia Forum. And this include the Mount Kenya Ewaso Water Partnership, which addresses water issues, the Ilmamusi Community Forest Association, which addresses rangeland and forest issues, Oramat Lena Boisho, a cooperative society addressing rangeland issues, Ontulili Primates Protection, key in the conservation of the colobus monkey species. The Laikipia Tourism Association, which helps realize the tourism theme, and Ewaso Maji Savings and Credit Cooperative, which is a SACCO helping in water issues. So these organizations have received support from the Laikipia Forum through fundraising, operational support, administrative support, and they have become stronger conservation voices through this support. So I'll briefly talk about the Laikipia Forum and e-waste. This is something that is, I wouldn't say very new, because we started the e-waste discussion or conversation roughly 2 years ago, when the We Center helped the Laikipia Forum to dispose of or manage its own e-waste. And this was through the help of Simone. And since then, we have been having discussions with the We Center on how maybe we can create the conversation or move the conversation to this county or landscape. So to this discussion, we bring a strong network in central Kenya for the distribution of information, knowledge sharing, advocacy, and capacity building. And we have brought a few partners along the way who have helped move these discussions forward. This include the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Laikipia chapter, the Leo Project, tourism providers, and individuals. On today's area of discussion, I don't know what everyone was supposed to talk about, but as a Laikipia Forum, we have also realized the different environmental and social impacts that can arise from e-waste. I'm sure most of the participants yesterday and today might have pointed out why e-waste management is so important. But the improper disposal of e-waste poses health problems and environmental problems. This waste is not biodegradable and accumulates in the environment, in the soil, air, water, and living things. And the open air burning and other methods used to recover valuable materials from electronic components release toxic materials into our environment. Uh, these practices expose workers to high contaminants. These contaminants include lead, mercury, beryllium, arsenic, among others. And consequently, we have health effects such as cancer, miscarriages, low IQ, neurological damage arising. Most of these are irreversible. So there is a great need to address e-waste management. Otherwise, we'll have potential harmful environmental and social impacts. And as a Laikipia Forum, we have been keen on what actions we need to take. And mostly we have been thinking about a consortium approach where we bring different partners to address e-waste management. And some of the ways we believe we can address e-waste management, especially at a county level, at a landscape level, is formalizing engagements with different counties, more so the county government of Laikipia, creating a strong network of partners and stakeholders on e-waste in the greater Laikipia landscape. In the slide above, when I mentioned about partnership, you saw the different partners we address or tackle conservation issues with. So this is what we can bring on board, bringing those partners on board to tackle the issue. As the Laikipia Forum, we intend to assist with mapping locations, assist with acquisition and distribution of bins in Nanyuki and Laikipia at large. And the Laikipia Forum also, through its conservation education program, intends to support awareness creation rather, in schools, among individuals, in corporates, among other fora. The Laikipia Forum also hopes that it will be able to support research towards sustainable e-waste management. I'll be happy to take any questions, or maybe I should wait until the end, but in case anyone needs the presentation or anyone needs to partner with the Laikipia Forum, those are the contacts for reaching out. I don't know whether I should close it at that, Simon. Maybe you can guide me. Simone?
So thank you so much, John. We have Dr. Catherine Mbaisi with us. Am I visible? Is she visible? I can see her here. Huh?
I'm finally back. Thank you.
Hi.
I'm back. Hi.
Wonderful. So we're having some technical difficulties here. I'm so sorry about that. Dr. Catherine Mbaisi from NEMA. And we also now know you from the video that we've been displaying yesterday and today on We Center, where you were representing NEMA as well. So thank you for that. John has just talked about, I don't know if you managed to hear a little bit about what he said, from Laikipia Forum side, where they have all the wildlife and water associations and also the chambers of commerce and the flower farms, etc., really engaged in the issue of e-waste management and how to create a symbiosis and functional system there together with actors like ourselves and prevent and mitigate so it doesn't pollute the environment and cause health issues for people. So from the NEMA side, I would love to hear your view, and I will leave the floor to you, and then we can discuss a bit more. And I'm hoping we will also get UNEP. Alexander Mangwiro is supposed to join, as well as a gentleman from GGGI Uganda, Philip Muwanika. But they are also having some issues trying to join. So, Dr. Catherine, perhaps you could give yours and NEMA's view on the e-waste menace and also the opportunities we see together.
For the invitation, and thank you for the opportunity for me to be able to share a little bit about what we do or what we are doing here in NEMA, or maybe what is expected of us and of everybody else. Like you have rightly said, my name is Catherine Mbaisi. I work for the National Environment Management Authority. And as you all know, the authority is tasked with the job of supervising and coordinating all matters related to the environment. And we are also the principal arm of government in dealing with matters to do with the environment. I joined in a little bit, and then I also got lost. But I am really grateful for this platform. I'm happy that it is recorded, and this is something that is really encouraged because it's going to remain in the media for some time. So having said that, I believe I have just a few minutes. I will not go into the issues of describing e-waste because I believe that that has been done. But I'll go straight to maybe the topic about the environment and the social impacts or problems of e-waste. One, I don't know whether you've been given these statistics, is that globally now we are really generating a lot of e-waste. It is estimated about 50 million tons, and I'm sure Simone has given you those figures. And this is, as we all know, is because of all of us are becoming a digital generation. Now, there's nothing you can do that does not involve electronics or electrical or some gadget somewhere. as we all go to the digital space and we do all our work from the digital space, it means that there is some e-waste being used, or some electrical equipment being used, which after some time to become a waste. So it is good, but now it is just how we manage the accompanying issues that come with it. We have an assessment that was done by the Basil Action Network, and we found that us as developing countries, we sometimes end up receiving quite an amount of the e-waste. And this is also from a report, a global report. And therefore, we have a lot of challenge in terms of accumulating this e-waste. And as developing countries, we are always challenged with the regulatory framework, or even when it is there, the implementation part of it. We can have policies, but sometimes how well we use those policies is a challenge. So with those kind of problems, we find that this e-waste problem is something that we need to think about as a country. We need to think about as stakeholders. We need to think about as all the people involved in this. Some of the impacts that we do have, as you all know, we are still struggling in terms of putting our the general waste management in place. So the way we manage even our general waste is mainly through open burning. We don't do a lot of segregation. So we have a lot of mixed waste, which sometimes we end up burning. And this is a big problem, because when you go to our dump sites like now, you will find all manner of waste there. I am not able to share my screen. I don't know how I can do that, because I had some things that maybe I could have shown you. But let me just proceed in the interest of time. But over time, we also find some other problems that arise from this open burning. We have our youngsters most of the times. They go there and pick useful materials or useful waste. Sometimes they do pick using their hands. And we have cases, and that's why I wished I would show you my screen.
Sorry, we can't hear you.
I couldn't hear you.
Dr. Catherine, we can't hear you.
Did.
Unmute, Catherine.
You are muted.
Check down there on the row panel. You should see the mic.
Sorry. I don't know how I became muted. Oh, sorry.
Okay. You
You
can
can
also
hear me
present it
now.
from there.
You can present
No,
from there also.
I present from?
You can present also in the down. It says it's a screen and it says present, and then you can share your screen.
If you can guide me again, Simon.
There is an icon.
Where is the icon for her?
There is an icon that looks like a computer down there where there is the mic.
What does it say?
Hello. Can you hear us?
I can see notes.
So you click on the icon that looks. You mute your sound.
Which icon?
It is muted.
Yes, the output.
Okay. I can see. Is it share?
Now you can talk.
Right.
Can you see?
Not yet. Have you
Not yet.
pressed on that icon?
Press on that icon.
When you present.
When you present.
When you click on it, it will give you an option of your present your screen.
Kindly come again. Which icon are you talking about?
You see where the mic is? There is a mic and there is a video. Next, there is an icon that looks like a computer.
But for her, what does it look like that for me? It's like for me, yeah.
Or are you able to upload your presentation on the slide and handouts?
If you give me a minute,
Okay.
let me just share it to Simone.
Okay.
Can I share it with Simone?
Sure.
Yeah, maybe she can share it so that we don't keep the rest of the people waiting. I hope I'll not lose it.
People with this phone. No, we shouldn't be doing that. People know that, and they have just told it. Have you heard? Has your government?
Simone, your microphone. So Dr. is sharing the PPT video.
Just a moment. Just wait a moment. Like this. Okay, I think, can I continue as Simone tries to share it?
Please proceed.
Yes?
Proceed.
Is that okay if I can continue?
Go on.
Yes. So I was talking about the impacts. Then we have the issues of waste pickers, and the environmental hazards they are exposed to is really a lot, especially where they go and scavenge for those valuable parts from there, which include the e-waste. Then we also have a lot of animals around our dump sites. Sometimes you find pigs, sometimes you find animals. So you find that when we have this mixed waste, including e-waste, which we all agree has both the sometimes can having hazardous components. Sometimes you find that it can have challenges. So those are some of the challenges. Some other, we also know that some of the e-waste have negative effects on the environment, which again affect or have contribute to the issues of climate change. And because of the poor disposal of these items, sometimes we find that we have water pollution, soil pollution, and because of the burning, we have air pollution. And at times, if you pass through these open areas where they are burning waste, you find that the area there is polluted. And we all know from the scientific point of view, when these items are burned, we have the issues of all manner of pollutants like dioxins, furans, all those that are released to the environment and they injure our environment. So we have quite some challenges that we need to address. Therefore, with all that background, what do we then need to do? We find that we need to look at the best practices. And I'm happy with this forum. I'm happy with these discussions because we are able to learn what other people are doing and be able to get best practices for us to borrow or for us to implement. So there is really a great need of best practices of how to handle different components of e-waste. And then we also need to do a lot of training, a lot of capacity building on e-waste. When you engage on this subject, you find that even among the elites, the issue of e-waste is not well understood. So there is, and then again, even if it's understood, this is also a very dynamic subject. There are new components or new gadgets that are put on the market every day. So we need a lot of training, a lot of capacity building for people to be able to handle this. And also, even when it comes to policy direction or policy actions, we also need a lot of capacity building. Are we together? Hello? Have I lost you?
I can still hear you.
Are we together?
Daktari.
Yes. Are we together?
Yes, we are. We are.
Okay, thank you. You know, I may be talking alone. Then we need, for us in NEMA, we find that we deal with the different sectors of the environment, and therefore you find us in different factories, different facilities producing different products, therefore having different type of e-waste. So we need to work very closely with other people, and especially the county government. We need to work very closely with the county government. NEMA does enforce regulations, but there are certain regulations, especially on waste management, that we have devolved to the county government. And as much as we have devolved, I want to confirm that we need to work together, and we have been working together with them to be able to enforce. So there are times where we do joint inspections and joint monitoring to see how this is being done. Again, I talked about training and capacity building. We need to do a lot of sensitization. I'm happy with the such forums to target relevant stakeholders in waste management. Then another action that we need to take is we need a lot of updates. Like I said, this sector is very dynamic. New products are always coming on board, new innovations. The same way that these new innovations are coming, new products are coming, we also need an update, need new information to be able to see how to manage this e-waste. We are now, the issue of circular economy. I think this is going to provide a very important solutions so that from manufacturing and designing of the products, we are able to know how this product is going to be used after the end of life. So we need also the concept of circular economy to be broken down, to be demystified, and to know that we need to see how we can close the loop. So we need a lot of discussions in terms of designing products, in terms of after the end of life, how we can refurbish or recycle these products. We need to be very intentional about this. I want to briefly talk about the policy and the legal framework in the country. We know we have the Constitution 2010, which gives a right to every citizen to a clean and healthy environment, and especially under Article 42. And beyond that, we have the Sustainable Waste Management Act, which was enacted in this year, 2022. This act is we are excited about it because it encourages zero waste, and it also encourages that the products are designed and managed to reduce the volume and toxicity of waste and materials. It promotes conservation of resources. It envisages that this idea of banning or barring or just disposing waste anyhowly is discouraged, so that we can have a cleaner and safer environment. We have quite the guiding principle for sustainable development, that is a guiding bit. Now, the other thing we have also developed the national e-waste guidelines. These guidelines have really been the ones that have been guiding us before this Sustainable Waste Management Act came in place. And it gave a different approach, or gave not so much, but it gave us guidelines on how to manage waste in terms of segregating and just dealing with the different categories of e-waste, or how to treat different types of e-waste or technologies, and the kind of procedures that we need to follow. Then in 2020, the government put in place an e-waste management strategy, and the aim is to address e-waste management through mechanisms. For example, putting in place appropriate policies, laws, regulations, guidelines, and standards. And from this strategy, you realize that we have now the Sustainable Waste Management Policy, and we are still going on to be able to put in place a good regulatory framework. We have some other regulations that we are coming up with, that is the draft extended producer responsibility regulations. And these regulations are very important because they want to provide for the extended producer responsibility for all products and packaging in all phases of their life cycle. This is to enhance environmental sustainability. We want to ensure that for every person who is producing a product, he is able to tell us or to manage or to take responsibility for the end of life handling of that product. So we want the extended producer responsibility aims at reducing pollution and environmental degradation. Because if everybody manages the end product or manages their waste, then we'll have very little products in the environment. Then we want to, the regulations aim at sustainable use of the natural resources. Then also they aim at promoting circular economy, and then also they aim at promoting environmentally friendly products and product design. And then we also want to have a culture of environmental consciousness and responsibility. So what then shall we need to do? One, we have to review the existing policies and regulations so that we can have a very good regulatory framework. As you all know, in Kenya, we have a two-tier government. We have the national government, then we have the county government. So there is need to harmonize the national government policies or the national policies with the county policies, so that what the national government envisages at the national level is translated at the county government level. For example, now we have this Sustainable Waste Management Act. We need to come up with the ways of ensuring this act is well implemented at the county level. And I'll just give a little bit, because the act has very key responsibilities for each and every person. So another importance of these extended producer responsibilities, they want to enhance producer and generator participation in e-waste. Like I said, the person who produces the product and the person who uses the product therefore ends up with the e-waste in his hands. They need to work together so that everybody knows their responsibility in this e-waste management and there is no gap. These regulations also envisage the issues of incentives to promote e-waste management. For example, the salvage value of the electronic and electrical equipments should be standardized so that we have these incentives are how do I say it? Well, they are clear, so we understand we understand the type of incentives that are there when we are handling all this. Then again, like I started saying, that we need to see the global good practices or best practices and learn from them and domesticate them and see how we can use them. Some of the best practices may not be used as they are, but we need to see how we can use them at a local level. So we hope to come up with demonstration sites so that we can borrow from the best practices and set up there. And to this NEMA, together with our stakeholders, we are hoping to put up a demonstration site in one of our cities here so that it can show as a demo, show best practices. People can come and learn from it. We can be a training center for people to learn and be able to adopt best practices. So I think I want to stop there and take any questions if they are there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daktari. Wonderful, and thank you for keeping the engine going when all of us fell off also. That is wonderful. You really covered from A to Z, basically. And now we have Alexander Mangwiro from the UNEP joining in. Welcome to this session on environmental and social impact of e-waste, actions to be taken. There are a lot of challenges, but we also have some opportunities on resource recovery and economical, let's say, livelihood creation. We would love to hear UNEP's side. We've heard also John Kiongo show the initiatives happening in Laikipia County from Nanyuki side. So kindly, we have another 10 minutes to go. So I give you 5 minutes, Mr. Mangwiro.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me? Okay, good. All right. So I don't have to shout, right? This is good. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And good afternoon, everyone. It's unfortunate that I was not here at the beginning. have been having connectivity problems, but anyway, that happens. So I think we all know today's gadgets are tomorrow's e-waste. And it's not a secret that, the amount and quantities of e-waste we are generating are increasing by the day. And all the electronic gadgets in your house, be they gadgets like the children use, the toys and whatever, all these electronic and electrical devices will end up being disposed of. And when you talk of e-waste, what do we mean? What type of materials are we talking about? Okay, you'll see that what is contained in e-waste, you have valuable metals like gold, silver, platinum, useful metals like copper, aluminium, iron, and you also have hazardous substances, materials like radioactive isotopes and mercury, and other toxic persistent organic pollutants like polychlorinated biphenyls, PCBs, and dioxins. And you also have high impact polystyrene, because in all these electronic wastes, you have the circuit boards. And on the circuit boards, you have soldering. So you have a lot of lead in them, and these high impact polystyrenes and polyphenol oxides, and you have acrylonitrile, funny chemical names. And you also have glass, especially when you look like it's old TVs, they have the cathode ray tubes, which it's all silicon dioxide, calcium oxide, and sodium. And even in just a mobile phone, there are about 40 elements, base metals, copper, tin, and other special metals, cobalt, indium, gold, silver, everything. But then what happens when all this is disposed of improperly? It ends up in landfills, uncontrolled landfills. Actually, we should not even call them landfills, dump sites. End up in the dump sites, and in these dump sites, since we do not segregate waste, we don't sort waste, there's a lot of organic materials, a lot of plastic, a lot of metals, everything is there. So as a result, with the organic matter, you get the formation and formation of methane, which is a combustible, flammable gas. And then these uncontrolled or controlled landfills or dump sites end up burning indiscriminately, spontaneously. So what happens? You end up with all these toxic carcinogens, base metals, heavy metals in the atmosphere, pollution. So you'll find that even people living close to the dump sites, they have a myriad of diseases, chronic acute respiratory infections, and everything else. The mercuries, they are neurotoxins. The leads, they are neurotoxins. They affect the development of children, even their learning abilities and everything else. So it's very important that at least the good and proper management of e-waste should be done and not lead to open burning. And as a result, I think we need to keep on raising awareness. We need to keep on talking about it so that at least people can know what to do with their e-waste. We all have e-waste gadgets in our house, but we should not throw them indiscriminately out. They should be managed properly. And there's also the issue of insufficient data, and the sectors that deal with the management of e-waste, I think they are largely informal. So there's need retooling, reskilling, people learning new skills, how to do things. So I think we are all in all this together, and we should not stop. We should keep on going and keep on raising the flag. I think I'll stop here. Thank you. Over to you, Simon.
Thanks so much, Alexander. Very good. And also to hear the UNEP side of this, emphasizing what we have been talking about. I know you missed out on the beginning of the conversation. As we can see, and also let me see if we have something in the panel. For all the attendees, check your right-hand panel where you can come with discussion or questions also and input. Yes, questions about the slides. We'll upload the PDF in the program, in the platform if we haven't already, under handouts, so that you can find it later on. Very good. Thanks for asking. And also, thanks for giving thumbs up. It's nice to see interaction. So I'm thinking the way we now talked, and Catherine mentioning the Waste Management Act, the National E-Waste Guidelines, we're coming to EPR legislation also being enacted hopefully soon, the producer responsibility. I was thinking, how do we translate this? Because what I've seen is that it's usually the environmental unit, or like in Laikipia, it's many times the environmental connected associations who are initiating something. And UNEP is obviously the UN Environmental Program, where we come up and we have the knowledge. How do we now translate and talk to our peers in other sectors, like for instance, like you've done actually now in Laikipia with the tourism, with the industry, with the finance, with the infrastructure, those sectors that also need to understand, since e-waste electronics span all across. Do we have any ideas how we now make them realize and start implementing? Because they also could see both the negative and positive effects. Kindly, if you feel any of your successes from Laikipia in gathering could maybe also apply in bigger scale. John, are you with me?
I'm sorry, I had lost you for a while. Could you kindly repeat the question?
I said, we have so many laws, and they are, all these usually derive from the environmental either unit that in the government or in the county. How can we translate the knowledge and the legislation, sort of translate it, but how can we make other players in our society to also adhere to these? I see that you in Laikipia have managed to engage a larger amount of different stakeholders.
From our end, what we've been able to use is maybe having a strong, maybe digital campaigns or digital presence, where not only the environmental conservation sector needs to know about e-waste or the importance of sustainable e-waste management. This is something that needs to be spread across all sectors, and that is the reason why we've been able to engage people from different sectors as well. But that is just at a county level. To do it at a national level, we need to bring on board a larger consortium. Perhaps we could bring on board the KNCCI main branch or headquarters to bring on board all people who are running businesses. The KNCCI Laikipia chapter has been very supportive in that aspect. Maybe stronger awareness creation. We've been trying to reach out to schools locally but I don't know how possible it is. Maybe the other partners could share to incorporate sustainable e-waste management into the curriculum, as this would ensure that the young learners are able to know what potential harmful effects e-waste could have to them, and why it's important to sustainably manage it rather. Maybe from the rest of the team, anybody to supplement that.
Thank you so much, John. What are your input, Dr. Mbaisi and Mr. Mangwiro? Do you think we could do something? Because we seem to have, and I know a lot of African countries, they do have legislation, they do have policies, but the budget also for doing all these things usually end up in the environmental section. But the gains actually might come where people will be more healthy, so the health sector will have less costs. The industry will have more healthy and workable people. And then you will have the tourism, it will be cleaner and more beautiful. And then you will have the agri sector will also gain by not having pollutants in the water or soils. How can we work together to make this now be known and implemented throughout? Dr. Catherine. Dr. Catherine? You're muted. Okay. How about you, Alex? Yes, kind of.
I think the previous speaker rightly said it. Include into the curriculum of the children, but not only in primary, even in kindergarten. They have to know segregation of waste, where to put what not to put where, and even in the homes. Because if you start it in your homes, where you show your children that, use the batteries and whatever are not part of just normal waste. They will, they see you doing the wrong thing, they will correct you. And they will also tell their friends and whatever. So it is a culture that we have to inculcate in the young generation. So how we do it? By example, and also through the curriculum, kindergarten, primary school, everywhere. People have to learn about environmental awareness. Thank you.
Very good. Yes, I agree. But I think we need to start both from the bottom in age groups, if we call it from the bottom, with the children. Because like you said, also they will bring it home and actually they will teach their parents. So reaching children, you often reach the parents as well. But at the same time, meanwhile, we need to put the infrastructure and the implementation of the laws and policies so that the society changes, so that we have drop-off points. Because if someone starts segregating at home, they need to be able to dispose of somewhere also. And at the same time, if you go to your workplace and nobody cares there because they're not compliant or not asked to be compliant, etc., then there's going to be a description between what is being taught down here and what the society actually looks like. So I agree, but I want to add that. My dear friends, thank you. I got a thumbs up from someone on that one. Let me see. I see something has happened in the discussion field. Oh, I got some more. Thank you. We all have so much passion for this. I can feel it. And wanting to move on faster. So we need to work together. And I think one core is to actually reach the stakeholders of other. More than 80% is by Saba. I know she's joining us from Malaysia, by the way. Thank you so much for being so dedicated and participating. It's collected through informal sectors, link both sectors together. Formal and informal need to be addressed and discussed in the future. Very true. And I've seen now in the extended producer responsibility and waste regulations in some of the countries in South America, they have actually put up quite formal routines of how to integrate and empower in the same way the informal sector in their waste management solutions, which is really great. And I think we should benchmark even more with them and see how we can put that into our legislative framework as well, so that we secure the health and safety for them at the same time and the livelihood. Thank you, guys. I think we end the environmental session like that. And do we have Eddie with us?
Yes, he's in the session.
He's in the session. Very good. We didn't have time for the startup during the tea break, but now we will listen in before we take a lunch break, and then I hope everybody will be back by the time we start all over again, which will be at 1:30, with a session on investments in circular solutions and startup support. And after that, sustainable production design and role of producers in this. And then we go for circular economy and how that promotes resource recovery, ending off with capacity building and awareness creation, where we will touch upon what we already started talking about here. So we will leave the floor 5 minutes for Eddie from TBIN to present and pitch. He is one of the startups we have supported here at the Circular Innovation Hub, which we started last year. And we have had some amazing startup entrepreneurs passing through during the year. This is one of them. So enjoy and join in later on at 1:30. Thank you. Eddie, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Simone. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are from this part of the world. My name is Eddie Gitonga, founder of the TBIN, where the TBIN is a smart, intelligent, solar-powered segregated waste bin that educates the public on the separation of waste at source, as well as provision of affordable internet connectivity. To my next slide. Yes, so the problem that we're trying to solve specifically is waste disposal. So that is me. I'm at a popular dam site here in Kenya called Dandora Dam Site, where all the waste from Nairobi is disposed. Apparently, I'm on top of a hill, and on top of me is also another hill where you can see an excavator on top of me. So, I mean, this is a problem that we're going to encounter in our counties now that we have waste being devolved, especially here in Kenya, which means we really need to address this problem. And to our next slide, please. Yeah, so the solutions that we offer in our waste bin is obviously live waste separation. We have internet connectivity, education and awareness, and as we had the previous discussions, we really need a lot of awareness. We really need to have our children have this particular knowledge on waste separation. So, and to our next slide, please. So this is our product. This is what we are delivering to different places. So this is how the TBIN looks like. As you can see, we have a solar panel that acts as a roof, and then we have two compartments, a blue compartment and a green compartment. So we just decided to come up with two compartments because as Africans, I don't think we really have that time to put different types of waste. So organic is what contaminates the non-organic, and we decided to come up with just 2 compartments to separate the organic and non-organic, where we have the smart screens that will be used to provide education to the public, to skilled children, and to the users. So we have an additional street lighting so that this bin can be used at night, and also provide affordable internet connectivity. So in a nutshell, that's our T-bin. And to our next slide, please. So the target market that we're looking into is learning institutions. Obviously, we want to have this bin in our schools so that our children can learn more and understand on waste separation. So we have controlled public spaces where we're also targeting because we need different users from the public to be able to interact with our bin. And then we have county governments here in Kenya, which we're also targeting, so that we can have a country that understands about waste separation. And to your next slide. So we've had milestones. So we built the T-bin last year. It's just 1 year old, and to date, where we got some seed funding to build the first T-bin in that year and build it. And then we are currently undergoing a program by International Trade Center. We are among the top 40 and ecopreneurs globally. And then we have already launched a workshop where we're building 12 more T-bins. And I know this slide is looking more ambitious, but we've gotten partners to build more than 100 T-bins by the end of the year, and then expand to major cities and in different towns here in Kenya. And to the next slide, please. Our marketing strategy obviously will be partnerships from telecommunication companies, especially for the data that we have on our bin, government, schools, as I told you before, shopping malls, stadiums, radio stations. You have it, all that. And we also want to create more awareness through social media and exhibitions. Yeah. So what makes us different, and to our next slide, what makes us different from other people? We are different. We are very competitive. We have waste bins, but they're not really interactive. So there's the waste segregation bit where it's 100% efficient. We have security integration, as I told you. We have cameras on our bin that help assist in different security structures, and the internet connectivity from a bin where we provide affordable internet to the users, and also providing more digital opportunities for young people. And then to our next slide. So we have our business model is basically waste collection, advertising from our screens, where we could use them to advertise and as an off-grid advertising model for businesses, and recycling. Yes. So on to your next slide, please. So our metrics. By the end, the first quarter, by the end of the year, we're looking to have $4,500, which will be our income. And to our next slide, please. Yes, so this is our team. I'm the founder and the CEO. We have Simon, who's in business development, and we have Daniel Kimani, who's our technical lead. And if you have investors in the building, we're looking to raise $90,000 to help us, have our workshop fully fitted with different equipments and employ more people. Thank you very much. Open for questions.
Audience, that was great. Let's see if we have any new comments or old comments from the environmental, social.
Thank you very much. Yes. Yeah.
It's really hard to see the ambitions and the
yes, I
dedication.
see a question. The bin would really work for hotels and restaurants. Yes, especially so. Yes, with the IoT. Yes. So apparently to also who's this? Let me see. Yes, I think this is circular economy. Yeah, so we, besides the T-bin, we also have created smart bins, because the T-bin cannot be everywhere, because it's mostly for education. So we have our tea bin maybe in the main entrance, and then we have other smart bins. We already have a pilot project in Juja City Mall, where we have all our food waste doesn't go to landfill, and all paper waste doesn't go to landfill. So I know by the end, maybe in the next 3 months, we'll not be having any waste that comes from the mall. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. And anyone who wants to connect with Eddie or anyone else from this forum and the platform, you can find and utilize the lobby and lounge. And then
if you have any questions, Simone, you could jump on board.
Yeah, am I audible?
Sure.
Okay. So, and then of course connect with Eddie straight away. You can find him. You can also Google Eddie and Tbin. But otherwise we have the participants, so you can actually connect and chat in the platform as well. Now we'll and back by 1:30, we will start a program with investments in circular solutions and startup support. So very much looking forward to that. Welcome everyone in 30 minutes, less than that, 28 minutes. So see you soon. Thank you, Eddie.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Bye.